Astro Club holds public nights once a month here at the Whiten Observatory. We usually, on clear nights, will have a whole bunch of telescopes set up. So we'll have our 2 historic domes open for people to look at things like Jupiter, Saturn, the Andromeda Galaxy, and we'll also have telescopes set up outside. And then we usually have like educational activities for kids or, older like middle schoolers, high schoolers set up throughout the observatory.
I noticed some people doing drawings at the entryway.
Yeah.
So what were they doing?
I think, we had a little drawing corner where people were, designing their own planets. I think, our theme for this night was women in astronomy. So some of the people I talked about, like Annie Jump Cannon, she talked about classifying stars based on their colors and masses. So we have an activity where people are, sorting stars based on their colors, also looking at spectra and doing what she would have done. So we have activities on that. And then I think we have people listening to data that's converted to sound too. So
what other workshops have you done in the past?
In the past, I think we had sort of like a hands-on model, kind of like demonstration thing about like exoplanets and how we detect them. I'm trying to think what else. A lot of crafts we usually have for little kids, making your own planets, making your own galaxies. Cool. Good to know. Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Nanette Barbosa. I'm an astrophysics major here at Wellesley, class of 2024. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about women in astronomy. So I first want to talk about why we want to talk about women in astronomy. So right now I have some statistics up about what the field looks like right now for college graduates with an astronomy degree. In this curve right here, we see the total amount of people who have graduated with bachelor's degrees in astronomy. And then this red curve down here is the women who have graduated with a bachelor's degree in astronomy. And unfortunately, it hasn't been that big of a rise over the past 4 decades. And this is a cool study I found done by Hazari in 2013, where we talk about different factors that retain women in science. So I guess this plot here is kind of like the difference that a specific intervention made on the female students studying science. So what's I guess not super surprising is that the things that made the biggest difference is having female physics or science teachers, seeing the work of other women scientists, reading it, studying it, and seeing the scientists themselves, and then also talking about underrepresentation and having a safe space for that kind of dialogue and feeling supported. And so I think that's why this presentation is going to be really cool, is that we can, kind of enact that, seeing people who have done really amazing work in astronomy. So I just wanted to start off with this quote by Mariah Mitchell, who I'll get into, but she was talking to a group of her students in the 1800s, and she said, "I cannot expect to make astronomers, but I do expect that you will invigorate your minds by the effort of healthy modes of thinking, and when we are chafed and fretted by small cares, a look at the stars will show us the littleness of our own interests." So in more simple words, I think this is talking about when we look at our own problems, we can look to the universe and the vastness of the cosmos as a way to maybe make us care a little bit less about, those little problems. So about Mariah Mitchell, she was an American astronomer in the 1800s. She grew up in Nantucket, Massachusetts. And when she was a young kid, she helped her father with fixing up machinery in his boats. She was the first female professor of astronomy at Vassar College in New York in 1865, and in 1867 she discovered Miss Mitchell's comet. And she went on to discover many more comets throughout her career. And her students say that she was very unconventional in her teaching styles, so she didn't have grades. There was no grades, and students had to submit reports on how well they thought they were learning the material. And so I wish I had more teachers like that, but yeah. Next we have Annie Jump Cannon. She's actually a Wellesley alum, and she was a deaf American astronomer, also the 1800s to the 1900s. And she created the stellar classifying system OBAF-GKM, which basically sorts stars by the heaviest ones to the lightest ones. And she also worked with another female astronomer at the time to figure out that stars were made mostly of hydrogen and helium, which was super controversial at the time, and their work wasn't really super accepted. But now it's like a well-known fact that this is true, that's stars' cores are made of hydrogen. And then she later worked with and led a huge team of Harvard computers, and these are women who worked on stars, looking at images and sorting through them. So more about her classification system. She used something called spectra, which talks about different chemical abundances and different identifiers. And she basically looked at each one of these little plots and sorted them out by the dark lines that you see. So if she saw a certain pair of 3 lines, she'd be like, oh, this is a K star, oh, this is an O star, and she would look at thousands of these images and sort them out really fast. And so that was how, back then things had to be done manually, so she was looking at each spectra and sorting them out that way. And then this is sort of what we would look at today, a color image, but sadly she didn't have that back at the time. So this is a picture of the Harvard computers. Once again, this was a team of 80 plus women, and their jobs were to look at images of the night sky and compare the positions of stars between each image and see if they've moved or classify the different objects that they noticed. And so this is sort of, this is a digitized image of a photographic plate, but these were the kind of things that they were looking at back then. Another fun person is Vera Rubin. She was also an American astronomer, was inspired by Mariah Mitchell to go to Vassar College, and she identified the problem of galaxy rotation, which later provided evidence for dark matter. So theoretically, what we expected to see was something like this curve here, where the speeds of stars would slow down as we go farther out, but instead, she observed that they were getting faster. And this means that there's more mass or more matter in the galaxy than what we see, which is what dark matter is. So Vera Rubin helped propose that idea. And these are more fun pictures of her working with more photographic plates and then working on a telescope. And then another cool person is Marie Peri Pişmiş Devirsias. She was a Turkish, Armenian, Mexican astronomer. She was the first professional astronomer in Mexico, coming from her postdoc in Harvard and then migrating over to Mexico, and she created the first astronomy curriculum there in the 1940s. And she created a catalog of 24 open star clusters and 2 globular clusters in the southern hemisphere. So she was definitely a dominating force in the southern part of the world. Another fun person we have is Jocelyn Bell. She was an Irish astrophysicist, and in 1967 she discovered the first pulsar, which we have here, using radio astronomy. So pulsars are essentially stars that are rotating that have beams coming out of them, beams of light, and if we're in the right position and the beam of light is pointed towards us, we can detect a signal using radio waves. And so cool story with this is that, the radio observatory that she was at was taking a whole bunch of observations. They didn't discover that they had found this until a few months later when she was sifting through the papers. And then she told her advisor, but unfortunately at the time, she was not credited for the discovery, and her advisor won the Nobel Prize. And so it's still a long-standing, she didn't really get the credit, but at least people know now that she was actually the one who discovered the first pulsar. Another cool person we have is Barbara A. Williams. She is an American astronomer and the first Black woman to receive her PhD at the University of Maryland in 1988. And she focused on studying compact galaxy clusters, also using radio astronomy. And so this is another image of a photographic plate of one of the galaxy clusters that she focused on. And it's you can barely see the galaxies there, but they're there, where those little arrows are. We also have the most recent physics Nobel Prize winner, Andrea Miegues, and she won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. So this was done taking observations over 20-ish years of stars moving around a center of mass that you can't see, and that provided evidence for the black hole in the center of our galaxy. We also have Wanda Diaz-Merced. I don't know if you guys have done the activity for her, but she's a Puerto Rican blind astronomer, and she basically converted large data sets to audible sound to study light curves. And so she studied gamma ray bursts to find resonances or patterns in star winds. And then I'll just play a quick little video of some of the sounds from the first
Now I'm going to
piece.
play the birds for you. It's not music, it's sound.
Can you guys hear that?
This is scientific data converted into sound, and it's mapped in sync. The process is called sonification.
So yeah, where that red line
So
was,
listening to this brought something to the ear besides the obvious.
yeah, so where that red line was, basically she converted the heights of the curve to sounds. So, yeah. And then we also have Nergis Malvavala. And so she's a Pakistani-American astrophysicist and also a Wellesley alum from 1990. And she was on the LIGO team that detected the first gravitational waves in 2015. And so gravitational waves are basically when two very heavy or massive stars are orbiting around each other super fast and they combine together, they make a whole bunch of waves that permeate throughout the universe. And so to detect those waves, you have to get really, really precise lasers that move by less than like your hair. And so she was in charge of engineering and building that laser. And she's also the current Dean of School of Science at MIT. So she's still nearby. And then she came to give a commencement speech here at Wellesley last year, and I thought this quote from her speech was really good. If you collaborate with, mentor, and be mentored, and promote others who have walked a different journey than yours, if you harbor those who have refuge and haven, if you stand up to those forces that destroy equal opportunity for everyone, you will change the world for the better. Which I took to mean, embrace people of different perspectives, people who don't look like you, people who come from different backgrounds, and use those perspectives for good science and for making new friends. And so I just wanted to finish off with some older pictures of students at Wellesley. Here we have people in the 12-inch, and then we have a physics lab back in the late 1800s, where Annie Jump Cannon is actually the TA for the physics lab. So she was helping teach other students. And then this is our current Astro Club here. Basically, I just want to say thank you, and that our Astro Club runs these events, so you guys should definitely come next time when it's hopefully clear and you can actually use the telescopes. But yeah, thank you so much.
So, this telescope was built in 1890, brought to the college in 1905.
1890?
1890. Y'all can touch it if you want. You won't actually be able to see anything because unfortunately it's cloudy tonight. But if you want to take a look through that eyepiece and take a photo, the people looking at the photo will never know that you're not doing serious science. Which is really cool. This dome is also from 1905. It used to be that they had to move it by hand.
Is that those slots booted?
They are, yes. 1905.
Wow.
And this means we have a 360 view of the sky, so we can see just about everything, which is really, really fantastic on a clear night. Y'all should come back to the next public night because you can see things like the Andromeda Galaxy through this telescope. Oh yeah. So, this big boy was built in 1869 by the Clark Company, and it was transported to college in 1900, and Sarah Frances Whiten said that she wanted an observatory for Wellesley students. It is still being used in Wellesley classes today, and so if y'all would like to take a look at it, you won't be able to see anything because it's cloudy, but again, makes a great photo of below the difference. You've got this excellent red lighting. And I can show you, we still open the slit by hand, just like they did in 1900. So College. Almost the whole thing. Yeah, you won't be able to see anything, unfortunately, because it's really cloudy tonight, but it's still really cool. You can get your hands on a scope that's 150 years old. Awesome, yeah, so this is the Finder scope. I think it's making promises, but next public night. So, and we have all